So we're going to come back for this one more time, the last real attempt to strengthen the gluten here. I do want to throw up a slide here showing an electron micrograph of dough that is in the process of being worked. Figure 1 here in the upper left shows early stages of gluten development. Pretty disorganized, a bit of cross-linking starting to happen. Figure 2 shows the development of threads, strands of gluten. In figure 3, those strands are starting to interact with each other. And in the fourth figure, finally, you'll see that there's a sheet, a nice smooth sheet that is similar to this dough here. In the fifth image, you'll see that the sheets have actually begun to fracture. So the sheets are layered on top of each other, but they've become a bit brittle, and that's a sign of an overworked or over-kneaded dough. So one more slide here, or two more slides. The first one showing what I've been talking about in terms of the development of gas cells, and as they expand, the need for surface tension and the ability of the gluten to actually hold the tension of the gas. And then in this last slide here, we're showing basically what happens during baking. Gas cells that have been developed by fermentation are also full of moisture, which expands with steam due to the heat. Those cells burst, and then the gluten is left without the support of the air pressure and has to be strong enough to maintain the structure of the dough even after that pressure has been released. It is set by the heat, and the gluten strands set into the foam cellular structure we know as bread. There is some indication, which I think is fascinating, that in a loaf of bread, all of the cells are actually connected to each other. And unlike what's pictured here, actually there may be a single air sac that is continuous. Anyway, so here we're going to finish up the same way we have before, strengthening this dough. I do want to point out one other technique. The dough doesn't always come together this nicely. Sometimes it's a bit looser and difficult to work with on the bench. So you can do what's called stretch and fold, where you grab part of the dough, stretch it up without tearing it, and fold it over. And then you grab another part, kind of let the weight of the dough, and sometimes this happens very fast if it's a very loose dough, and then fold it over, kind of stick it to itself. And you can work your way around the circle and just keep folding that dough over. Really, you only need to do the four corners. So 4 stretch and folds is enough to usually tighten up the gluten. And you do want to be a little more delicate at this point in the process. I would not want to do another round of lamination where I'm forcefully stretching, because this gluten is pretty well developed. We saw that when I did the parchment test. You were able to get a very thin sheet of gluten, which indicates good development. And now it is starting to ferment. We're starting to develop air in here, and I don't want to really be forceful in disturbing that. I'm tightening up the gluten one last time, but that's really all I want to do.